Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News, and Nick Viall just did a podcast with Ivan Hall. It is available on Nick's YouTube channel, Viall Files. I'm going to play for you guys several clips from that podcast, actually in several different videos. This one's going to center around Ivan Hall talking about his potential Bachelor in Paradise boycott, how Chris Harrison called him, and the conversation that happened with regards to that. And then after the next video, we'll have the Brendan and Piper scenario through the eyes of Ivan, what he knows. He did talk to Brendan afterwards, and then maybe we'll get into also what went down in the Hotel Gate scenario. So we'll get into all of this. Of course, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video, comment for the YouTube algorithm gods, and I appreciate that so much. We'll get right into it. Of course, remember, go support Nick's YouTube. Leave a comment on his page, like his video, watch the full thing. We're just commenting on that. I don't want it to look like we're ripping off other people's stuff, but lot to say, lot to talk about. There's a jam-packed 80-minute interview. They get right into it. So we'll get into that, but of course, Friday night stand-up show, North Hollywood, free, BYOB. Let me know if you guys want to come. And a brand new vlog, New York City Broke Me, a vlog of my weekend in New York with my fiance. Ton of fun. Go check that out on Dave Neal Vlogs on my YouTube channel. There'll be a link below and a link at the end. All right, let's play this clip.
Felt compelled to post that on your social media platforms about wanting to speak your truth?
Oh, that tweet there. Jeez. I mean, it definitely had to be just because of the whole, Chelsea Aaron situation and whatnot. Things got heated. Some of my actions, might not have made too much sense to people, but, in the day, it made a lot of sense to me. I don't know. I really didn't think that tweet was going to go that viral, but it definitely did.
This is the tweet referring to Ivan saying that whoever gets his first interview, there'll be a lot of tea to spill. I think Nick did a really good job of asking a lot of questions to get some of that tea out. But I think Ivan is also a smart guy and realized he wasn't going to share other people's experiences and throw anyone else under the bus. So we didn't get too much out of him there. But there will be a lot more to discuss. Let's jump right into his thoughts on how he says his words were twisted when he didn't say he was actually going to boycott Bachelor in Paradise.
Bachelor in Paradise is an option. Had to get through Matt's season 2, though. So I was very excited and looked forward to, potentially going on a Bachelor in Paradise situation. Obviously, it's like I get to hang out with more of my guy friends again. Then there's a ton of women there. So statistically, it'll probably be higher chances that I end up leaving with somebody. But then during kind of Matt's season, there was definitely a little bit of apprehension, I'll say, raised. Mostly just because of all the race scandals and with Rachel and Chris Harrison. And then I think I got caught up a little bit in it when a lot of headlines were out there saying Ivan won't do Bachelor in Paradise if Chris Harrison's the host. They twisted my words there. Definitely. I said I'd be uncomfortable with if he was the host, but I would still do it no matter what for the most part. So I'm not going to say no matter what, actually. There was a lot of discussion. And I think Bree actually alluded to this a little bit on y'all's podcast last week, where we had this whole black coalition from Matt's season's girls and from Tayshia's men, and we were trying to figure out things and if Paradise was going to be a good option for us to even do. So definitely some apprehension into going with Paradise with all that kind of stuff. But as time wore on, I think that kind of stuff. From my perspective, I wanted to, give the show another chance. I know it worked out well for myself, and, and having talks with, Chris Harrison called me on the phone, had a great conversation with him, talking with the producers and how they wanted to make this season of Paradise different than any other season ever. That got me excited again. And of course there was a lot of, a ton of women I wanted to meet out there and, potentially leave with somebody.
So you said Chris Harrison called you? Is that public knowledge?
Yeah, there was, probably not. I mean, I think some people know, my friends and stuff know, but no.
Of course, this happened. Chris Harrison called Ivan when Chris Harrison was still the host of the franchise. So, this might, to some people, they might go, oh, old news. But this is piecing together a lot of different points of views regarding the Chris Harrison scandal, what led up to his ultimate firing. It's what went down, is, paid to leave his got attorney Brian Friedman, power attorney, to get him what they're saying is about $10 million settlement just to get out of there. at this point, Chris Harrison's calling people, trying to figure out what he needs to do to change, what he can do to make it a more comfortable place. Not a bad look for Chris Harrison here.
Yeah, I mean, there was a headline out there when I did one of the shows on E where I said I would be uncomfortable if Chris Harrison was the host. It went viral because everybody said Ivan's not doing it if Chris will be there, obviously, but that's not what I said exactly. But yeah, he reached out to me, and we had a good conversation. It was just two grown adults talking about things, and it was a good conversation, and I wish him all the best. And I was like, dude, there's no ill will towards you. It's just, as the person who's like the authoritative figure of the show, it definitely would honestly make me feel uncomfortable at that time based on how things were going.
Ivan was a contestant on Tayshia's season of the Bachelorette. Claire's season 2, if you want to call it that. Claire's single, go get her, Ivan. Maybe, who knows? Maybe not. Claire, get an Airstream. Ivan will be over for Fantasy Suites. If you know, you know. So he's not a big figure when it comes to, like, Chris Harrison was like top dog. He called him an authoritarian figure. If Chris Harrison is the dad, Ivan's one of several hundred children. There have literally been several hundred people, if not, probably approaching 1,000 that have been on The Bachelor. You get 30 per season, 20 seasons of each. That's maybe over 1,000 now that we think of it. The point being, for Chris Harrison to take the time out to say, hey, what do we need to do? And some people might say, hey, it's not Ivan's place to give the emotional labor to tell Chris Harrison. But if you were having a dinner party and someone's like, oh, I don't know if I want to come, I might feel uncomfortable. You'd be like, why would you feel uncomfortable? What do I need to do? Oh, you don't, maybe, I'm afraid of dogs, and you let your dog run around. All right, we'll put the dog in the room. Yeah, no, whatever, the case may be.
Did you, obviously he ended up leaving the show. Do you, Yep. After that conversation, did he make you feel more comfortable, or was your comfort level pretty much the same, but you certainly just respected him reaching out?
No, I definitely fully respected him reaching out. We had like a 30-minute conversation. He was just trying to pick my mind on things. And he was just he just kind of, was just letting me tell him whatever I wanted to, and speak openly, and trying to game plan for the future to a certain degree and whatnot. But yeah, of course he left the show or whatever. I wish him all the best. But yeah, it's just the way things had to play out, I guess.
Now, wouldn't it be wild? Pardon the interruption. You can go watch the full thing on Nix. Why do you interrupt? Go watch it on Nix. But wouldn't it be wild if these sorts of conversations about what Chris can do to make the place more inclusive, wouldn't it be wild if that played out on camera in front of millions of people? Wouldn't that have been a great learning opportunity? Because a lot of times we say, oh no, so-and-so has to go, and we don't get to the place where those that supported Chris Harrison blindly, a lot of times people support blindly, we don't get to the place where those people learn what was uncomfortable. So now they see Chris Harrison as a martyr, as someone who was fired because of cancel culture. You like those air quotes there. They see that, and they don't see a solution to a problem that they don't even see that exists because of their own privilege. So wouldn't it be nice, and leave a comment, let me know what you guys think, if Chris Harrison stayed on the beach and they had bonfire-like conversations, even if they didn't all make the air on Bachelor in Paradise. We know the show's highly edited, it's fast-paced, but what if those conversations became some sort of around the campfire chats that happened? Wouldn't that have been more productive than paying him $10 million to shut up because the show didn't want the PR nightmare that was to follow? Just asking the questions, folks.
I will say I definitely really enjoyed the host situation this year. That was a ton of fun with all the rotating hosts, especially Lil Jon. That dude was the best out there for sure. Yeah. They're all great, but Lil Jon was a lot of fun. He was a ton of fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching them, and there was something about Lil Jon, his range. He's got incredible range.
Yeah, for sure.
Both as a host and as a musician. I heard a rumor, and maybe you can help clear this up, that you gave some very strong consideration to not going on Paradise because you were strongly thinking about going on Michelle's season.
That's a funny rumor there. I will say this. Teeth. So me being numbers guy, statistically, it made the most sense for me to go at Paradise. I felt like, because there's, a lot more options, a lot more women I could date. But on paper, just like going into Paradise even, or thinking about doing Michelle season potentially. On paper, I will say I did feel like Michelle would be the best match for me. This is without me knowing her at all, but just from the things I've told producers and like what I was looking for in a fiance, wife, and all that kind of stuff, relationship. She's like seemingly sweet. Well, I'm sure she is, and plays basketball, love basketball, athletic, all that kind of stuff. And comes from a great family, all that kind of stuff. So on paper, definitely something I was definitely, kind of considering, but I was just like, at the end of the day, like, I guess the chances are higher if I go to Paradise and try dating multiple women though.
Was it just something that you were thinking about in your head, or were there any conversations you had with the show about possibly going on Michelle's season?
I definitely mentioned Michelle to, couple of the producers. It never like really gained any traction, and I never said like, hey, I prefer to do Michelle season over Paradise, because again, I did prefer to do Paradise over her season for the reasons I stated, but it was just something that I did let them know like I was thinking about.
You mentioned your numbers guy. Obviously, you're very analytical. I relate to that thought process. It is something, however, I think is used against people who go on the show when they say things like having a strategy, being a numbers guy, thinking about things pragmatically. It seems like the audience in the show sometimes will use that against contestants. So I'm curious what you think, people saying that. Can you, just in general, what do you mean by numbers guy? And can you speak about your sincerity or lack thereof, I guess, on going on the show? And what do you mean by that as it relates to, looking for love?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess like, well, not I guess. I definitely have that engineering background.
All right, so you can go watch the rest of that convo. I mean, I like that. I like that Nick and him bonded over the analytical side of things. Everyone's different. Some people look at things differently. So it is very fascinating to think that Ivan considered going on Michelle's season, realized, he'd be competing against 30 guys to possibly like Michelle. Maybe he ends up realizing he doesn't even click with Michelle, versus going on Paradise, getting to know multiple people. Hey, as a numbers guy, he chose that option, and it wasn't necessarily a bad experience for him. All right, we'll have more content coming out. If you want to watch the whole interview, go to see Nick Viall's page on YouTube, and you can go check that out. And coming up next, we'll see what Ivan has to say about Brendan and Piper. I like Ivan. Fascinating guy. He's not reckless with his word the way some people like Demi might be. He's thoughtful and considerate to who he's going to talk about, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a personality type. Listen, if you want to go check out my vlog, I got some stand-up clips on there, plus we did Fashion Week. New York City broke me. Go to Dave Neal's vlog. There'll be a little link that comes up at the end of this video. You can go check it out there. All right, folks, we'll talk to you in a little bit. More content to come. Bye now.